think about these two things. And so Larry will do that until the guy who started 5 seconds ahead of him is now 8 seconds ahead of him. And the guy who was 5 seconds behind him is now 2 seconds behind him, and he throws it all out the window and goes back to what he used to do. And I go, and he just goes back to his old stroke. I say, Larry, what happened? He says, well, I was working on it for a while, but then they started pulling away from him, and then they started catching up to me. I felt like I just had to go. So whatever I said didn't last very long. So what I do is I put a tempo trainer on him and say, okay, Larry, I figured out what tempo trainer what speed you were swimming at, your tempo was. I'm going to slow this really down. Every time you hear a beep, you have to put your hand in the water. Put this on and try that for 50. So he does. And you see him go his normal stroke for the first 6 strokes. And he starts laying into the stroke and listening to the beep, beep, beep. And he finishes the 50. I said, Larry, how was that? He goes, damn, that was really slow. I didn't like that at all. I said, well, that's okay. That's your tempo for the rest of the day. Now, you can't go fast at that tempo, so let's stop trying. Okay? Let's just focus on some of the stroke mechanics that we want to talk about. Okay? And move him into a slower lane. Okay? Larry, I'm going to pull you out of this lane you normally swim. We're going to go down 2 lanes, a little slower pace, closer to what you're swimming at here. This is your coach. Just let it tell you what to do. Stay at that tempo, and let's focus on the things that we're talking about. So it's a great tool to pull those guys back and really get them out of that mindset of faster is better, longer and harder is better, and just work on stroke efficiency, because efficiency begets speed. And what we learn with these triathletes is a lot of times, some of them, after swimming with us for 6 or 8 weeks, they go back to the race they did the year before, and maybe their swim time isn't as they didn't have the same big drop in their time that they thought they would have. I said, don't worry about that. Think about how you feel when you get out of the water. If we got you to swim that same 1.25 miles or whatever it was, only 2 minutes faster than you did the year before, and you thought you should have been 8 minutes faster, think about how you feel to get out of the water. Because a great swim is one thing, but at the end of the day, all they really care about is having an end total time. I said, so if we can get you out of the water, not even burning up so much energy by using your legs so much, if you can get out of the water and feel fresher, that's going to result to a better bike time, better run time. The ultimate day is you're going to have a much faster race, then they're going to be happy. So it's just changing their mindset sometimes. Ernie McGlisco in his book, Swimming Fastest, talks about if you increase the stroke rate, you're going to shorten the stroke length. And if you increase the stroke length, you're going to lose the stroke rate a little bit. And the best swimmer, for each of us individually, is we have to find that balance that works best for us in order for us to swim at our optimal pace, okay? Because it's not going to be the same for everybody. If you overload one end, overload either stroke length or stroke rate, one way or the other. If you jack it too high, either way it's going to result in slower swimming. So we've got to find that balance that works out best for you. Tempo Trainer helps us do that. We've all done the swimming golf. We had stroke count plus time. That's a really good basic to start work on stroke efficiency. But if you add 2 more elements to that, one being the Tempo Trainer, at what tempo am I swimming those stroke rates at? Or what's the stroke count at, and the other one is heart rate. Okay? If I've slowed my stroke rate down to so slow that I'm taking 6 less strokes per 25, but I'm overusing my legs to do it, and I'm burning a lot of energy in my leg, and my heart rate is spiked up by about 20 counts just by doing that, that's probably not an efficient way to go. So by using the Tempo Trainer and thinking a little bit about heart rate, it just adds more pieces that we can dial in to be as efficient as we can. Because again, efficiency that's where speed's going to come from. So you have tempo and pace, you have tempo and stroke count, you have tempo and heart rate, just different things you can play with. What I like to do with this is, some of the things we'll go to is, if I'm swimming the same time at the same tempo, I can do that 50 after 50 after 50 after 50, and I've locked into a pretty efficient pretty efficient pace efficiency. If I can swim the same pace at a slower tempo, I've increased my stroke efficiency. Okay? Same pace, slower tempo, so at the same time with slower tempo, I've increased my stroke efficiency. If I can increase my speed at the same tempo, then what I've done is I've found different ways to find speed. Okay? I'm not swimming a faster time by by moving my arms faster. I'm finding more speed by either swimming with a more powerful arm stroke, same tempo, just a more powerful stroke. 2, either using my walls better, which is huge, or 3, I'm using my legs more. And again, legs is a great way to go, unless it's spiking your heart rate too much. Okay, so you've got to kind of figure out those pieces too. Some of the training variables that we'll do with a stroke when we're doing stroke work is we'll do like a 3-stroke kick and balance. We'll set it for a nice moderate tempo, and I'll say, okay, what I want you to do is just roll up on your side, stay at that until you hear 3 beeps. Beep, beep, beep. Then you're going to move to the other side, kick them out the side. Beep, beep, beep. Because again, we're talking about body balance. And when we do that, we want to make sure that we have their armpit facing the bottom of the pool. And they're actually pressing that armpit in the water and using that as a leverage point to maintain their body posture. Because again, we're doing kicking balance on the side. We don't have a lot of speed. We don't have a 250 horsepower Evinrude at the back of the boat powering us forward and above the water. So we have to learn how to maintain our body posture by how we press into the water. So if I'm rotating my body in such a way that when I rotate my body, my armpit faces in, you can see normally what that does to my elbow. It makes me drop my elbow. So I want to get as much rotation on my body as I can while keeping my armpit facing the bottom so I can press that into the water. So sometimes we'll say, okay, we're going to go a series of 25s, and the beep is going to be on the hand injury. Beep, beep, beep. Then we'll do another set of sub 25 and say, okay, now what are we going to do? We're going to change, we're going to maintain the same tempo. We're just going to change where our focus is a little bit. So now when you hear the beep, what I want you to do, when you hear the beep, our primary focus is to feel the elbow move towards the shoulder before the hand moves away from the hip. People who have a lot of lateral swing in their stroke is because the first motion they do is this. You finish your stroke and everything's going in a lateral, almost like a butterfly recovery this way. So what we want to do is to keep the rotational piece in there. Is if I can get them to move their elbow towards your shoulder before the hand moves away from their hip, that's going to lend into this more rotational body posture that we want through the water. So now our beep is, okay, every time you hear a beep, what you want to do is, we're not thinking about, we're not beeping here, now we're beeping to this point. So it's beep, recover, beep, draw here, beep, recover, beep, draw to the shoulder. So all we've done is we've changed the focus. Okay? Same tempo, we're just changing the focus to the recovery piece. Another time we might do is we'll say, okay, when you hear the beep this time, we want our elbow to be its highest point of the recovery. So now it's beep, 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 here. And when we feel that, we say, okay, now when the elbow is the highest point of the recovery, we want to make sure the fingertips and the elbow are reaching the shoulder at the same time. Okay? And when we're doing that, we're back to this body balance piece that I haven't done anything with my lead hand, so I'm still pressing my armpit in the water to keep this nice long stroke, but I'm in this position here. Now, when I hear the beep, my hand passes here. Now I set my catch, so now I know my hands are passing each other out in front of my head. So if we think of our body in nautical terms, the longer a boat is at the water line, the more potential it has for speed. If my hands are moving simultaneously to one another and always passing each other with my shoulders, I'm always coming back to my shortest boat. But if I can get this three-quarter catch-up going so my hands are passing each other out in front of the head, again, I have a little longer boat line at the water line. So it puts us in this position to create a lot of force and power through our hips. So we'll always try to start people in the mindset of swimming with a three-quarter catch-up. And then what we're going to have to do is either dial that back a little bit or dial that forward a little bit based upon their individual preferences and what they can do. But our baseline to start in is try to get everybody to a three-quarter catch-up to begin with, and then tweak it as we need to individually from there. And just play with stroke tempo a lot. That plays with trying to change the tempo. We'll do descending sets. We can do descending sets where they'll descend their time instead of 4 100ths by changing the tempo, but to keep it maintain the same stroke count. So we're not adding strokes to add speed. So we can play things that way. Backstroke, we'll do a 3-count kick and balance on their sides. Same idea as balancing their body for a 3-count, balance the count for a 3-count, move the other side. One of the things we work with our backstrokers a lot is trying to change the speed of their tempo, not by how fast they move their arms, but how quickly they switch their hips. So in our freestyle and our backstroke, both long and axle strokes, we really talk about trying to have the entry of the hand generated through the hips. So the hand entry is hip generated. So in my freestyle, I'm getting up to this position here. I'm aiming with my fingertips, but I'm really firing my hip to move my hand forward. I'm not reaching over the water this way and then having my hip motion be as a result of what I've done with my arms. I want to be a little bit more proactive and use my hips early in the stroke. In my backstroke, I'm going to do the same thing, that when my hand gets to the high part of the recovery, I'm actually using my hip to put my hand in the water. So when we're going to change the tempo of the stroke, it's not how fast am I moving my arms, but how quickly can I switch my hips. Because it's really hard to, you can move your arms and not do much with your hips, but it's really hard to switch the speed of your hips without moving your arms with it. Okay? Make the arms keep up with the hips. Breaststroke. Most people in breaststroke will not glide long enough. They're moving too fast. So we'll slow them to a very slow tempo. We'll talk about, okay, best swimmers in the world are never going faster than when they dive in the water or push off the wall. As fast as they can swim, they can't match the speed they have of that push off. Okay? And so when you're thinking about coming out of your breakouts out of turn, your ultimate goal is to